welcome to Zerift's Homebrew Journal 3. So when we last left off our heroes, they took on a quest by the High Tower Sorcery to vanquish the beast that's been attacking the people, which, despite what the townspeople thought, turned out to be a pair of white dragon wormlings. And they uncovered a secret occultist with a strange symbol on his hand, five heads of a dragon, circled in a ring on his arm. While encountering a mysterious man in white armor with gold trims and a black cloak with a horned helm. But riding on top of the ancient white dragon, despite what they could do to figure out what was going on, they immediately had to deal with the matter of a noble lady who went after Lucho for the death for killing her brother in the ring. And she hired a pirate as a pirateer to hunt him down, which turned out to be the same pirate, ogre pirate, years ago, who slaughtered another character's Tixia, who slaughtered Tixia's tribe years ago, and now he wants revenge against the Tilixia. It's a hard name to say. Who slaughtered their tribe, and now he wants revenge. And now, with the scouting parties everywhere, they went into hiding. Now, let me introduce the characters and players who showed up. Returning, we have Alzheimer, the paladin from the first session. He returned to find the guys when they're in hiding, going, "Hey, what's up, guys? What did I miss?" It's pretty funny. So, we also have Shia returning. Of course, she's returning, our thaumaturgy wizard of the white robe. She's really concerned about this. Of course, we have our mystic Erda, or our psionic in this campaign. Of course, El Lucho, Ducky, or Doug, and Tixia. Who this campaign was centered around. Well, this session was centered around. Not the campaign. This session, where this was his character arc. We're about to explore, because this is his chance to get revenge, and we may find a few new surprises in store for him that he didn't expect. So, and also we had a new player, a bard named Carrick. So let's get started with the story of the session. They're all in this hideout in this basement Mr. Twinkleton under under a store, a secret kind of safe haven. And it turns out Mr. Twinkleton is actually the gnome, Mr. Twinkleton, the NPC that helps adventurers and brought them together. Uh, our adventurers is very well connected. He and the adventurers discuss what they can do, and the fact is they need to beseech this noble woman to call off this bounty that's been placed on El Lucho. So they decide the best way to do that is they have to get past these scouting parties of ogres. They're all over the place, and so they decided that the best approach is the way that Mr. Twinkleton reveals that the way ogre politics works is they're bound by a chief unless this chief has no heir. Uh, the clan will disperse. So in this case, these pirate ogres, the captain, they need to assassinate this captain who's also their chief, Captain Merrick. Merrick or Maroc, or was it Merrick or Maroc? I think it was Merrick. No, it was Maroc or Merrick. Yeah, it was Merrick. Uh, and so they all decided they need to get to get but they need someone to uh, get them through to get before they can find him. They don't know where he is, and that's where this story takes a interesting turn. He wasn't sure ready to tell Trixia this, but apparently our adventurers were surprised to learn that not all of Trixia's tribe was slaughtered. There was a couple of survivors, and they were sold in slavery, and some died. But there is a single survivor, a woman, and it happens to be one of their clan elders. And Trixia and the other is just excited because he can repopulate it and create his tribe. He discusses this with the party, and they go. But to get there, they need to they need someone to get them through. So he calls in a favor for a bard, who this bard who can charm his way into crowds and has a few friends that can get them through this dreaded situation. So upon, they come upon this as they leave the store they're under, the basement of the store they're under. They go through and they find this cage, this old woman caged with a four ogre pirates guarding her. So the party tries to decide what to do. So but before the party arrives, to help Zixia in his quest, he's given a belt of giant hill giant strength to, because he feels he's going to need it before this night is done. And they find this woman, and Ducky, our gnome wizard, decides to, as a newly found illusionist, disguises himself as a cat, goes in and talks to does not speak. She's not speaking in common. She's speaking in her own little native language, which I made sound similar to Klingon for kicks and giggles. Um, and he just yells, screaming at the cage. Do you not speak any single word of common? And she goes, "Oh, I speak common quite well, thank you." Which his yelling alerts the guards. They know, and they see Lucho screaming, trying to equal the distraction. They all dogpile him, and he's prone. Yes, the indomitable Lucho was prone by a bunch of ogre pirates. Like, because you have to. Well, take it for someone who's been dogpiled before as a kid. It's like your entire body movement is cut off, and when you're dogpiled, like you can't do anything. So that's the way I ruled it: is when you're dogpiled, you're just prone. There's nothing you can do unless you do a strength check to break free of them, which he failed, surprisingly. And so the wizard quickly uses one of his scorched rays to, which he had to roll with disadvantage to cut the cage open and make it precision, like kind of like blowtorch or something, just melt the cage and freed her, and tries to send the other two scorching rays at the other two ogres, hurting both of them. Tixia sees the ogre, and the ogre pirate recognizes him as the boy from the village that they let live because he was whimpering, and or recognizes him from the pain and so forth, and takes a spear, and the ogre mocks him, so he takes the spear and shoves it right at him and pierces right through his heart. And the other two were killed by Ray, and the fourth one was killed by the mystic. And when the elder tribal woman sees Tixia, she first words out of her mouth are, "Son." Much to his surprise, and much to Ducky's amusement, he conjures illusion and to mimic the voice of what he said earlier when he wanted to repopulate his tribe, and their sweet moment turned to her pulling him on the ear. It's like, "How dare you say such things?" Yeah. Ducky's a bit of a trickster. So, so they have a long chat, this long discussion, before she reveals her name is Nardia, and they talk about things, and she asks him to promise to make him promise that he won't go overboard or be consumed by revenge to do something he may regret. And he promises, and she just rubs his cheeks and just says, "My sweet boy, my sweet boy." And she pulls out, hidden within her robe, was the way their tribe works is that the elders pass their children's weapons. It's passed from generation to generation. In this case, is a spear that I've dubbed the Spear of the Ancestors. And it's a now the reason I went overboard on this was because my player for Tixia may not make it for the online game or when the game goes online. So I went all out and gave him a really special weapon as sort of a farewell present, just in case we never see him again. It is a +3 spear. It grants the user multi-attack, the wisdom of the ancestors, so they have advantage on history checks. Whoever wills it, and it's given to the tribesman, and he takes it, and she gives the location of Captain Merrick. And actually, I think it was Morocco. I don't know, whatever. And they head to the shipyard. Oh, right, ogre fight. They head to the shipyard, and they head to the shipyard, and they see the pirate ship and a bunch of scouting parties. Uh, they found a bunch of scouting parties and found a bunch of scouting parties, and they're around on patrol around the ship, and they they try to come up with something to do, and they know the captain, and they see this ogre, this big older ogre that's on the ship. It's probably the captain wielding a cutlass, with a scar over his eye and the war paint of tribal chief on his other eye, and just in like some pirate robes, just sitting there with his cutlass on the deck of the ship with both his hands on it, just tapping his fingers impatiently, as expecting something. And the players decide to, knowing that this Tixia needs. This is Tixia's battle. This is something to do. So to help him, they believe that they should give him with his newfound strength from the belt of Hildrine strength. They should increase his size, both cast enlargement, increase his size, hold the ship over, fold over, force them surrender. And they see about 6 ogres on the pirate deck of the ship, and that's not including the patrol. So they enlarge him, and they're instantly spotted. So they made him from huge to a large creature, and they are all surrounded by hundreds of ogre pirates. And then the captain comes to see them, recognizing Tixia, is like, goes, well, isn't the little boy who whimpered and died? I remember you sparing your pathetic, well-put life. And then it goes back to Tixia's memories. He remembers this captain very well. He slaughtered his tribe. And he also notices, also something they noticed on the ogres when they fought them, is that there was a marking on their chest of 5 heads, dragon heads, circle around in a ring on their chest. And the captain has one as well. Now, this is something Tixia has never noticed before, but these probably have the same symbol as a cultist they met in the woods before they fought these ogres, which raises a few more questions that they don't have answers to. And so they have this child, and he's remembering his childhood, he's remembering slaughtering of his people, and remembering this captain spared him because he whimpered, and he was sort of like thinking to himself, never again. He's like, I'll kill you. And the captain just laughed. He's like, you don't have the bronze to do it, or something like that. And they banter back and forth until the captain challenges him to an ogre rite of combat. A duel to the death, one-on-one. Texica says, "I have no care for your ogre traditions, but I will take you on one-on-one." So all the except the wizards, who one turns into cat and disappears, the other turns himself invisible, herself invisible. She turns herself invisible, disappear from the crowd, and they hide on roofs. One hides, and then they fall, and the others are carried in chains as they are prepared to battle. And this, as this sort of shamanistic ogre puts them into an arena, a small wooden arena that where his friends are supposed to watch, and they're held down. Everybody readies in action just in case things go sour, and they prepare for battle. And as the ogre shaman comes in and puts war paint on the captain, as he rips off his shirt and his clothes, and leaving only his pants on. And while the tribal man Tixia puts his war paint on, sort of prepares for battle, the shaman cuts each of their arms, and they bleed both into a bowl. And they puts a paint symbol on each of their faces with the blood. And he goes, "Tonight, one of you will fight, two of you will fight, and one will die with honor." And on the captain was, like I said, a five-headed dragon, heads of a dragon in a circle on his chest, printed on his chest, and wielding a cutlass. And when the fight seriously begins, the barbarian goes right at him, just ripping, using his attack, using his spear. They're ripping at him, doing like massive damage, Captain Murrock, realizing that, yeah, it was Murrock. I knew I remember it. Wields, realizing that he may actually lose his fight. Uh, it summons the power from this symbol, and five heads of a dragon dance around his blade and changes its shape. And he casts a bind on him, and the barbarian is bound. And the barbarian makes a saving throw to escape the bind, and he succeeds. And breaks free, attacks the captain again, and the captain fights by wielding the five heads on his sword and releasing five breath weapons from his sword. One of fire, one of lightning, one of poison, one of frost, and one of acid. The acid one hit, and he dodges all four of them, and slaughters the ogre, and goes, "For my people!" And pierces him up in the air and throws him to the ground. And the whole crowd gasps. And the all the ogres begin to leave, and then it short-lived when a rider on top of a black dragon arrives in similar armor than the man they saw earlier in the last session, with this time a black armor, gold trims, and a horned helm. And the rider gets off, lands near the arena, and runs to the corpse of the ogre, screaming, "Father!" Trying to save him, he puts him upon a dragon, and ready to save him, swearing revenge against the barbarian. And screams that he'll get revenge on him, unaware that what he's putting on his dragon is a corpse. And this now now that was the session. But before the session ended, they ran into an old acquaintance, arriving with Mr. Twinkleton, Fizmet. So, and he reveals the history of the. And Mr. Twinkleton reveals what the maps were for, and Mr. Fizmet reveals who these riders are. They are known as the Dragon High Lords. They're generals of the armies of dragons serving Takesis, and that this cult or whatever it is they found, what the symbol of the five head, a dragon circling on a ring, are probably worshippers of Takesis, the Queen of Darkness, the goddess of the high god of darkness, the gods of darkness, and that usually when she calls someone to be a dragon high lord, they are the general of her dragon armies. And Mr. Twinkleton reveals he knew that things were dire, but he didn't know these things were they're this dire. So he was sent on a quest, been on the quest to find a item known as the Hammer of Kaharis, which is an item used to forge a legendary weapon known as the Dragon Lance. But he only has one piece of the map, and they don't know where the other piece. And Fizban reveals that he knows that the other piece is in possession of the Knights of Salamia. But before they could go to the Knights of Salamia, they need to meet with the Countess and reconcile or resolve this situation with El Licho. Um, to call off the bounty, because they can't be traveling alone with the bounty on it. So they can't go on this bounty. So as they're all watching, two of them observe as watching in the distance is Lord Soph. And that is where we end this session. So this was the third session. And a quick disclaimer, I do not own any of these images, and they belong to the rightful owners. So thank you for listening and watching, and if you like, please leave a like or a comment, and follow me on Twitter. This was the third session, so we have one more session live that we're going to do, and probably one more journal before we take this. We have discussed it, and we will record and put a session online and see how that goes. Other than that, yeah, there's just that quick announcement, disclaimer that I don't own any of these images; they belong to the rightful owners. That was the session. I felt it was one of my better sessions. Uh, and yeah, leave. Uh, yeah, I'll just. This is Zerift signing off, and I'll see you guys next time.